This is an expressionist pendant because I want you to release your inner muse and go with where your creative flow is going to take you. You can make any shape, you just got to let the wire just flow in whatever direction it wants to go. And you might make a few of them that you think, oh, they're not so good, but this is something that you can glue a central cabochon stone. You see I've got these they're just acrylic flat based stones that you can glue on, and I'm using 1.6 aluminium wire again because it's so soft and fluid and easy to hammer. So you can use any wire, but I always start off with the spiral. So I'm making a hook this time because I want that spiral not to have a a gap. I want it to be completely tight because we're going to glue the acrylic stone or whatever acrylic flat back crystal or whatever you've got to hand at the center. So create a very tight spiral, which really will be just a flat base that you can glue your centerpiece color onto. So the size of this is really dependent on the size of the piece you're going to glue onto. So I know that my little acrylic coloured pieces are about this size. And then just take your pliers and start making wiggles and shapes. You don't want to really make a spiral, that's the thing. So I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm going to do a few wiggles now. So I'm just going to go backwards and forwards and make a few little ups and downs like a wiggly road. I'm just going to see what just comes into my head. It's like doodling. It's like if you had a piece of paper and you just got a pen and you started doodling. So there we go. Just always pull it round to that middle part where the spiral is. So, and then just add kinks and bends and go round and round. So basically, you're making the wonkiest spiral with little ups and downs and geometric bends and wiggles. And once it's big enough, because you don't want to make it huge because it will be weak, the wire will be weak if it's too big. So I think I'm going to stop there. Always leave an extension to make the link at the top, and then play around with it to see that it's all come together. And then that is where I'm going to place my hook at the top. So I've decided I'm going to push it through. You could either bind it with a piece of 0.4 at that point where it connects, so that it's like do a little bit of binding, or do what I've done is just push the wire through, and then it feels like it's connected and more secure at the top. So that's where I'm going to put my suspension link. I think actually I might also bind it because I don't want anything to become weak when it's worn. You've got to always think of functionality with jewelry. So I'm just going to put a little bit of binding wire at that point right at the top, because that's going to take the most wear and tear. That's where it's going to hang off the cord, hang off the chain. And you can put little bits of binding wire anywhere you want if you feel there's a weakness of it, going to open up. So it's like sewing, putting a few little stitches here and there, connecting one wire to another wire if you feel that there's a weak point. That's where you would, in traditional jewelry, that's where you would normally solder. So as we can't solder, we just bind little areas. So there I've got a more secure top of my pendant. So I'm happy with that now. And then I'll just get it to how I want it. And the next bit is hammering, where you work hard on it and you can get much more shape coming out of it. So I'm going to spread and flatten all the outer extension points first of all of the pendant. So go to all the extremities, go to all the corners, and really make sure that you flatten and spread out those areas. And that will give the structure a much firmer feel and make it much stronger, temper the whole piece. And then, because you can't go in the center so easily and spread it, just use your steel head, the planishing steel head, to go around the whole piece, and just make sure that certain pieces are more flattened and spread than others, which gives a whole illusion of a sort of more of a metalwork piece than a wire piece. See, now it feels nice and firm. So now that I've done that, I'm using my dapping head on the whammer to give little texture marks, you see little dents and bumps, and that gives a lovely texture to the flattened areas, and it will make the light hit it when you wear it, so it looks much more like sheet metal than wire, because you've spread the wire out. This is why this thick aluminium wire is great for this. Thinner wires obviously won't spread as easily as aluminium. So you can just give a texturing effect to all the larger spread areas, and you can see there that's giving it a nice sort of I don't know, a nice quality to it. And I'm finding that it's sort of like lifting up. If it lifts up a little bit, get your nylon head on your whammer and then go to the back of your piece and just stroke flatten or stroke hammer the back of the piece, because you don't want to get rid of the texture marks. And what this will do is make sure that nothing will lift up, it'll flatten it. You see, that's all flattened down again, and it feels really lovely and firm, and nothing is lifting up. I might just put a little wire there, so just to make sure nothing can open. Now, you pick out whatever you're going to glue, and I would use E6000 to glue my piece in, but because I want to do this for the tutorial, and I want it to happen in front of your eyes, the glue would take me hours of sitting there gluing. So I'm just going to use a bit of self-adhesive tape for the purpose of this tutorial, just to put it in place, but I will glue it later. So glue it there with strong glue like E6000, and then we're just going to make a little setting for it, which is an illusion setting, which is just a ring that will fit around whatever stone or acrylic flat back crystal that you're using, whatever shape or whatever size. Make something that fits around the contour, the diameter, so it's like a big jump ring really. And just check that, sits snugly. It's got to fit over and snugly. Make sure that the end is also well connected, so there we go, that's going to fit well. So spend a bit of time, because you'll find that closure point might look, a little bit obvious. So what I have a little trick to show you what I do to hide this and make it look like it's been sort of soldered on and doesn't have a gap. So first of all, just make sure it fits really, really well. Just push it around the piece that it's going to sit around, and then where that join is, you can still just see it. You can see, because I can't solder anything. So where that little join is, which is there, I want that to disappear completely. So I'm going to use the pig head of my deluxe whammer, and I'm just going to put tiny, very light texture marks. So they're like little strike marks, which means that you cannot see where the join is anymore, because obviously where the join is, it's like a little strike mark itself. So I just go round giving little strike marks. It does spread it open a bit, so I have to go back, close it up, and now I've got this nice textured effect, but also it means you can't see where the join is. So that's my little trick. You see, it gives this sort of nice textured look. It's different to the dapping, but it's better because it doesn't spread it so much. And then I glue that on as well. So you can glue the two things at the same time, but it was just to show you my little trick of encircling the central stone and surrounding it. And then obviously you want to go to the top projecting wire to make your suspension link. So you can either wire wrap that, but I'm just going to fold it around my round nose pliers, and now it's ready to have a chain, a cord. You can hang it off whatever you want to hang it off, but ta-da, et voila. There it is. There's my finished Expressionist pendant, and every time I make them, they come out different. So have a play, just go to whatever shape comes into your head, and you can make these lovely big statement pieces in with different acrylic centers. Just have fun being creative.